Dear students, right now I am explaining one of the important sum of ratio analysis. One of the basic important sum of ratio analysis. If we look at the question, what we have found, from the following particulars, prepare the balance sheet of S Limited for the year ended 31/12/2006. Fixed assets to net worth 5.8. Next, current ratio, that is 2:1. Next, acid test ratio, that is 1:1. Next, reserves to proprietors funds, that is 1:5. Next, current liabilities, that is given rupees 36,000. Next, cash in hand, that is given 1,500. Next, fixed assets, that is given rupees 60,000. Now these are the informations are given. From the informations you have to prepare a balance sheet. Ratio analysis is nothing but a jugglery of the accounts. If you have the idea of the formulas, then you can very easily solve the problem. First we should start current ratio. Current ratio, that is given 2:1. Current ratio, that is given 2:1. What does it mean? Current ratio 2:1 means if current assets is rupees 2, then current liability is rupee 1. What does it mean? The company has to pay a current liability of rupee 1. The company has rupees 2 as his current assets. That is, current liabilities is 1 and current assets is 2. Now if we solve the problem, what does it mean? In equation, that means current assets is equivalent to twice of current liabilities, because that is, as it is 2:1, therefore current assets is equivalent to twice of current liabilities, and current liabilities that is given in the question, that is 36,000. So automatically it becomes rupees 72,000. Next is acid test ratio. What is acid test ratio? Generally acid test ratio means current assets minus closing stock minus prepaid expenses, and the current liabilities minus bank overdraft. The numerator will be current assets minus closing stock minus prepaid expenses, and the current liabilities minus bank overdraft, that will be the denominator. Now we are putting all the formulas into equation. What is current assets? Just we have calculated 72,000. What is stock? That is closing stock minus nil. Why it is assumed as nil? As prepaid expenses information is not given in the question, that's why it has been considered as nil. But closing stock has not been considered as nil. Why? Because closing stock is very common to the business, to the nature of the business. There must be closing stock in 99% case. Better you can say in 100% cases the company has the closing stock. It may or may not have the prepaid expenses, but it must have the closing stock. Then likewise current liabilities, bank overdraft. As the bank overdraft information is also not given, that's why it has been considered as nil. Therefore the equation ultimately becomes 72,000 minus stock equal to 36,000. Why? 72,000 minus stock by 36,000 equal to 1. If we multiply it, the equation becomes 72,000 minus stock minus equal to 36,000. Ultimately stock becomes 72,000 minus 36,000, 36,000. Now generally current assets comprises of closing stock, debtors and cash. You can say, sir, there may be other current assets also, like prepaid expenses, accrued incomes, but all those information is not given. Bank is also belongs to current assets, but as the information is not given, that's why current assets considered comprises of stock, debtors and cash. Again we are putting it into a equation. Current assets 72,000, stock we have calculated 36,000, debtors we do not know, cash information that is given in the question 1,500. By doing the equation we have got the debtors is 34,500. Next is fixed assets by net worth, that is also given 5 by 8. Now the fixed assets is given 60,000. Then just by calculating it we have got the net worth. Net worth is 96,000. Net worth is 96,000. Now next worth is proprietor's fund plus loan plus current liabilities is equal to fixed assets plus current assets. What does it mean? It is nothing but the balance sheet has been written in an equation form. Proprietor's fund, generally proprietor's fund means equity, share capital, reserves, all those part of share of profit that belongs to proprietor's fund. Loans, current liabilities, all the liability side figure has been written in the left side, and in the right side all the assets, that is fixed assets and current assets, has been written. Then again we are putting all those information. Proprietor's fund, that is 96,000. As we know, proprietor's fund and net worth, they are the same. That's why in case of proprietor's fund we can say in another way, the another name of proprietor's fund is net worth. 96,000 plus loans, then we are putting all the information and we are getting the loans is nil. As the equation becomes equal, therefore loan is nil. To find out the value of loan we have done this equation, but what we have found, there is no value of loans. Next, reserve by proprietor's fund. The ratio is also given 1:5. The reserve we do not know, but the proprietor's fund we know that. By calculating this we have got the reserve fund is, that is reserves is 19,200. Next, right now I have explained what is proprietor's fund. That is, proprietor's fund can be considered as share capital plus reserves, or we can say in this way, share capital equal to proprietor's fund minus reserve. We have got the value of proprietor's fund, we have got the value of reserve. By deducting it we have got the value of the share capital. Share capital becomes 76,800. Now we are just putting all those values in the balance sheet. Share capital we have got 76,800, reserves we have got 19,200, loan is nil, current liabilities is 36,000, total becomes 1,32,000. Likewise fixed assets, that is given in the question, we have calculated the breakups of the current assets, stocks, debtors and cash, and the balance sheet tallies. Hope you understood. Thank you to all.